Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another, hang on one second. Let me get my screen up. Welcome back to another In the Know. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. We are now live. If you're having some trouble hearing, make sure you have your speakers on. If not, jump into the chat. All right. Let's get some of this housekeeping stuff out of the way. You guys know me. I am your hostess with the mostest, Leah Hartman. I'm your principal product consultant here under the accountant sales team. Been with the company a long time. Super excited and grateful to be hosting today. And as always, I'm still in the hot Tucson where I kid you not, today is a high of 99. I wish it would go away. Hopefully some folks are cooler around the States. Just a couple things I want to cover quickly before we move into our presenters. Navigating the Zoom webinar platform, you guys have heard me say it a million times if you've been here before. And if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining. If you have questions, please join in and ask those in the Q&A. You should find them at the bottom of your control panel in the Zoom webinar platform. You can find our handouts at www.intuit.me/ITK handout-OCT23. So for our agenda, as we all know, I'll welcome all the folks in. We'll talk a little bit about CPE credit eligibility information. We'll talk about the learning objectives. I have a few highlights I need to share with you guys, so we'll go over those. And then I will have my presenters share out. We'll do a little bit of Q&A, and then we'll end with our accountant resources and close out the webinar. It is only 60 minutes today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know your time is super duper valuable. When it comes to the Q&A section of your Zoom panel, we ask that you use that, not chat. Chat should be disabled. We ask that you only submit questions related to today's content. We don't have an opportunity to answer any questions that are outside of today's content. There are a ton of you and just a few of us. But also keep in mind that we will try to address as many questions as we possibly can regarding today's presenters and the content that they're going to be addressing. So please don't think we're singling anyone out. We're going to do our very, very best to get to everybody. And if you have technical related issues or questions that are not related to today's content, we ask that you reach out to your ProAdvisor support. That's 888-333-3451. If you have the downloaded handout, you should have access to this slide so you can get that phone number. Once again, it is 888-333-3451. All right, same goes for any CPE. In order to receive your CPE credit in each training session, you must be present for a minimum of 50 minutes to earn 1 CPE credit. Please be sure to answer all polling questions, and if all or part of the requirements have been met, excuse me, your CPE will be emailed within 2 weeks following the close of today's webinar to the email address that you registered with. So please note, we do send it from accountant_training@intuit.com. So make sure that it is an approved contact in your inbox, in your email provider. That's what I was trying to say. Awesome. We've got a lot of really, really good topics to discuss today. I'm super excited to learn more and all about the QuickBooks Bill Pay. I know we have had folks asking lots and lots of questions about it. Super excited to have my presenter on for that. We have explore a newly enhanced functionality to simplify data flow from books to tax. Super excited about that, as well as discover what's new. We all know it's that time of the year. Discover what's new this year for all things related to 1099. Last but not least, friendly reminder, if you need access to the handout, please head to the www.intuit.me/ITK handout-OCT23. All right. So as I mentioned, I have some news and highlights that I want to talk with you guys today. So we've got some, just a heads up for QuickBooks Desktop 2024. In order to avoid having to use multiple year versions of QuickBooks Accountant Desktop to service your client base, we recommend that you encourage all of your desktop clients to upgrade to 2024. As you know, we did launch our 2024 on October 3rd of this year. So we encourage you guys to upgrade now. It's important that your QuickBooks Desktop clients using 2023 or older upgrade their file to 2024 themselves using their own admin rights. If you have been given a non-admin role in the client's company file, you'll not be able to upgrade for them. If your client does not upgrade to 2024, you will have to use their existing copy of QuickBooks Accountant Desktop 23 or older to access client QuickBooks files until they do the upgrade. And if you want to support new desktop clients who are using 2024, you will also need to upgrade QuickBooks Accountant Desktop 2024. So just a heads up, this is pretty standard. We do this every year, so this is just more of an FYI or a heads up. We always encourage the upgrade, get new updates and fancy new tools that we've added or enhanced, as well as staying up to date on the product. And QuickBooks Online and Figured is agri accounting. So we know that agriculture accounting is unique, complex, and often requires specialist financial tools. That's why we're delighted to introduce a new alliance that aims to transform. Ooh, I have a gnat in my face. I'm sorry. That transforms agriculture accounting in the US. Figured and QuickBooks Online have combined to enable and power up agriculture CAS opportunity that exists for accounting firms with agricultural clients. Combining Figured's agri-financial management tools with the power of QuickBooks Online on a single connected ledger gives accountants a fully integrated agri-specific solution. This new solution drives the delivery of all your agribusiness services at scale, from reporting to high-value CAS. So whether you're establishing a CAS in your accounting firm, growing CAS, or you're looking for ways to extend and optimize your existing agri-service offering, the combined power of Figured and QuickBooks Online enables this at scale. If you would like to find out more, leaders from Figured and Intuit, including Justin Kebnick and Tim Mangini, I actually know those guys are really cool, are hosting an exclusive webinar on Thursday, November 2nd, where they'll share how the two platforms combined help accounting firms extend and scale their agri-service offering. They'll also share the significant commercial opportunity that Figured and QuickBooks Online unlocks for agri-accounting firms. To register for the webinar, we have a QR code here that you can scan, which is pretty cool. I love the little dinosaur. Or head to figured.com/QBO webinar. So we have the link here on the slide if you have downloaded our handouts. So we'll have that available for you if you guys are interested. Sounds pretty cool. If you guys are looking for ways to optimize and enhance, if you're in that field, I would definitely say give it a shot. Sounds like it's free, so doesn't hurt to try. Awesome. So we are at our first presenter today. So I'm actually going to go ahead and hand it over to Sivan, who's going to introduce herself. And Sivan, just a quick shout out. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Israel. We really appreciate you coming here and spending some time with us today.
Thank you so much. 1 second, let me just take over the screen share. Sorry. Okay. Thank you for having me. This is my first time actually presenting in the Know webinar. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you all for joining. I've seen some questions in the chat already about QuickBooks Bill Pay. I am a group product manager. I'm based out of Israel. My name is Sivan Yaron Enden. I've been at Intuit for 2 years. And I'm very, very excited to tell you about our new QuickBooks Bill Pay. So first of all, why did we even do it? And I think the need is something you're all very familiar with. What we've heard from you and from all of our QuickBooks users is that currently entering bills into QuickBooks is very time consuming. Not all the vendors you want to pay to necessarily provide their payments information. Some of the larger businesses, some of the mid-market companies that you are working with need more control over user roles, but they're not necessarily willing to pay for QuickBooks Advanced, or they're not QuickBooks Advanced necessarily. That in some cases, the bill needs to be approved before it is actually paid, and different businesses are doing it in various ways to solve that specific issue. And that in general, QuickBooks is already the source of truth for everything around accounts receivable with our amazing invoicing business. And it should also be used for accounts payable. So what did we do to answer it? We're doing automated bill entry with different ways to enter the bill without manually typing it in. We're giving you the optionality to pay via sending out ACH payment or a check. There's various options of vendor and contractor management. There's an option to pay B2B network members without actually needing to enter their ACH information, but using what the vendors enter themselves. There's, with some subscriptions, and we'll see it in a second, there are specific roles. There's a way to do custom bill approval workflows, and there is unlimited 1099 available with some of our more advanced subscription option. We're also offering voice and chat support. And of course, as you would expect with our QBO offering, there's reconciliation and reporting with auto reconciliation, different dashboards, reporting statuses, and audit trails. Who can access it now? And I've already seen some Q&A on it. Right now, we launched it to non-wholesale QuickBooks users, so the direct users, QuickBooks Online users, who are currently not using bill pay powered by Melio, and will gradually roll out to more audience types. This is live in the US since September 12, and there's links here that you could reach out from the handouts. I want to actually take you through the experience, as I understand not all of your clients and not all of you currently have access to it. And I thought it's a great opportunity to show you what it actually looks like. So currently, you can create a bill directly from your bills screen. That's one option to add a bill. When you add a bill, and this is an example of manually adding a bill, and you add all the details, who you want to pay, your vendor, the bill amount, all of that. And then straight from the bill, you can actually save and schedule the payment. Click and save and schedule payment would launch QuickBooks Bill Pay. QuickBooks Bill Pay has 3 steps to it. The first step is what you see here. This is where your client or yourself will choose which account they want to pay from. You can choose a different account to pay from for different bills. You can also, of course, use the chart of accounts. Which account is this charted to in your QuickBooks account? And from this place, you can also edit the bill amount. So if you want to just do a partial payment of the bill and not the whole bill payment at once, this is also possible from this step. On the left, at the top part of this area, you can also see who you're paying and all the bill relevant data for this step of the flow. The next step, you're able to choose how this bill will be paid. Currently, we have a selection between bank payment, which is ACH, and it's a quicker option to pay, and a paper check. If you choose to pay through a paper check, that means you would also need to enter your vendor address information. In this example, though, we'll keep with bank payment with ACH. It's much quicker and more secure. And we're choosing who to pay, email, all the information that you already have saved in your vendor card will automatically populate here, so you don't need to enter it again manually. What you will need in order to pay a vendor through ACH is, of course, to have their account number and their routing number. From this screen, you can also select your withdrawal date. This is very flexible. If you have bills due within 1 month from today or 1 week from today, you can schedule them ahead so you don't need to remember later on to take this off your checklist. According to the withdrawal date you would choose, you would also see the estimated delivery date. And what you're also seeing here is that fairly soon, we're also launching a next day delivery option. After you completed filling in all the information where you want this payment to be delivered to, the next step is, the next step is to review and actually schedule the payment. This is the last part of the scheduling. You actually see all the information in one place. If you have a change of heart, you need to change something, you can still go back from the screen into the previous steps. And also add a note to your vendor straight from here, telling them which bill is this for, or any other information you want to share with them. This is the last step. This step, you're scheduling the payment. After the payment is scheduled, you will see the payment scheduled screen. This is also accessible later from the bills page where we started from. From this screen, you're able to track different stages of the bill payment. At this stage, the only thing we did is we scheduled it. After the withdrawal date, it would start processing, and you will also be able to see when the payment is actually delivered to your vendor. In case you need to cancel your payment, this is also where you can cancel your payment in the time between scheduling and processing. How can you use QuickBooks Bill Pay? So we're offering 3 tiers of subscription. The basic tier has no monthly subscription fee, and it offers 5 ACH payments for no additional fee every month. If you do wish to use more than 5 payments, you can, even in this tier. For any additional payment, you would pay 50 cents, and for any additional check payment, you would pay $1.50. If you're interested in more ACH payments included and some more functionality, our premium package actually also offers you unlimited 1099 filing, also very relevant to the talk we will have next, and included 40 free ACH payments a month in that package. And again, if you wish to pay more than 40 in this package, you would pay an additional fee for each ACH and check payment. And if you're interested in having more roles and more control over who actually records a bill and who can approve a bill to be paid, the Elite package is probably the right one for you, where you will have 3 additional customized roles we will look at in a second, and an ability to control who approves a bill before it is actually sent for payment. This also includes unlimited free ACH payments and the unlimited 1099 filing. If you do choose the Elite package, then you will have 3 additional roles, even if you're not using QuickBooks Advanced. These roles are available in QuickBooks Advanced, even if you don't choose the specific Elite package. But if you're not an advanced user and you still need more roles and controls over who pays the bills in your account, this is a good choice to go with. In the Elite package, what you get is 3 additional roles. A bill clerk is a user who can record bills and edit vendor information. They can record the bills, but they cannot pay a bill. You can also decide that certain bills, when recorded, will go through a workflow where they would need to be approved before sent for payment. We'll see this in a second. The next role we see here is a bill payer. A bill payer cannot edit a bill. They cannot add a new bill. They can start a flow that we've just seen for bill payment, but only for approved bills. And the last role we see here is a bill approver. This is the role that can approve a bill to be paid. So if I have 3 roles, one of them could be the clerk recording a bill. In some cases, it would trigger a workflow to get approval from the bill approver. And only if the bill is approved can the payer actually pay the bill. I'm assuming you've already seen the new workflow that we have, but this is just an example. When the bill is created, you can set, for example, that if the bill amount is greater than 5,000, or if the bill amount is between certain amounts or coming from a certain vendor, it will request approval from your bill approver. And again, only if approved can it be sent to pay. How does the approval request look like? Well, the approval request will show up in the QuickBooks app or in the QuickBooks Online itself under tasks, and the bill approver can simply approve. And again, only after approved can it actually be paid by the bill payer. We'll now go into the polling part of the question. I'm going to read out the questions, and this is really where we really want your input. We're currently working on many, many more features for bill pay. And we want to hear from you, which is the feature or the area of features that's most important to you. Please choose only one. The first one is more payment options. I'm showing you that we have ACH payments and check payments. If you're interested in having more payments options like credit cards or international transfers, go with option 1. If you're looking for more reminders and notifications, such as this bill due date is coming up, or to receive different notifications on the bill payment status, the bill payment is received or was not received or is being processed, go with option 2. If you're looking for more advanced bill payment features, such as recurring payments, auto pay, the ability to pay big billers such as your gas, your utility, your Verizon bills, go with the option 3. If you're looking for more roles and permissions beyond the 3 we've just looked at, for an example, an admin who cannot pay bills but can do anything else in QuickBooks, or other roles specific for QBOA, go with option 4.
All right, thank you so much for that, Sivan. For those that had saw, the poll did come up. We had it up for over a minute. We went ahead and closed it already, so hopefully you guys got your poll in there. If you missed it, make sure you get the rest. But it does look like we have a pretty big offering, add bill pay features. It sounds like, you know, people might be interested, but they're looking for a little bit more. Was that expected, or what were you thinking, Sivan?
Thank you. So we're actually working a lot on that area, thinking that having more automated ways such as recurring payments and auto pay to make the bill payment flow even more automated and make it easier for everyone using it is definitely something that's on our radar. We're working on it. I am wondering, because we put together here recurring payments, auto pay, and big billers, I'm wondering if we can ask how do our the people who answered here weigh between these. So that would be really interesting to hear in the, I guess, in the Q&A part, how much is big biller an important part, or the recurring payments more?
Yeah, definitely feel free to give us those comments in the Q&A, guys, if you answered that. We'd love to know.
Yes, and one more thing also in the Q&A. We put here some things that are top of mind for us. Also thinking of batch payments, bulk payments. I would actually, and we just gave a few examples here under added bill pay features. So if there's more specific ones that you're interested in, we'd really like to hear those as well.
Awesome.
We're moving on to Q&A.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for providing us all that wonderful information. I have a couple questions I just would like to ask live if we have a chance. Some folks are asking about availability for this particular product. We get this a lot. So the first one is Canada. Is it available in Canada? Is there a thought of releasing it into Canada?
It's currently not available in Canada. Yes, we are thinking of releasing it in Canada in general. I think everything we're doing in the US, we want to release really quickly in Canada. Our B2B network is available in Canada, and we do want bill pay to follow, but it's not available right now.
Makes sense considering we don't have it fully rolled out just yet in the US, so they're probably still working some kinks out. So that makes a lot of sense. The other availability question was around QuickBooks Desktop. Is there a plan to put this in desktop, or is this specifically for QuickBooks Online?
This is currently specifically for QuickBooks Online. We're currently focusing on increasing it to all audiences in QuickBooks Online before we'll consider the other options such as desktop. Yes.
Makes sense. I can totally see that. I think based on your poll questions, there was a question around, are international bill payments available? But I want to say no because of the poll question I saw. Can you just confirm that for us?
Yes, you're right. They're currently not available, and this is one of the areas we're thinking of. We're thinking of it because we're obviously some of the, even like international says different things to different people, right? I'm from Israel. But yes, we understand there is a need to it, even sometimes between the US and Canada, and definitely wider than that. And that's also something we're looking at in the coming future. So it's not available right now.
Okay, makes sense. And we've got some folks kind of asking, questions around the upcoming Milio sunset. Can you speak to a little bit around what's going to happen and if there's anything that needs to be expected from folks that are currently using Milio?
Sure. So we're currently not rolled out to existing Melio users. We're planning to do this gradually. We're understanding that Melio users are currently also are using bill payments directly from QuickBooks. We do plan to eventually replace it with QuickBooks Online, and it's going to be within the coming year, but no specific dates yet.
So I would assume for those that are currently using Melio, continue to run the business until you are notified otherwise.
Yes, thank you for phrasing this.
No, that's, you did a great job. Just for folks that are might be jumping in a little bit late.
No,
So
I really meant thank you. That's a perfect example. Yes, continue to use Melio. We will notify you with enough time so you'll be able to prep. And when we will do such migration, we also plan to do it with all the support needed from our end, from the care agents, and everything we could do to make this transition smooth and easy for you and for your clients.
yes, absolutely. I totally agree. Let's see. There was a question around some specifics around the fees. So is there a fee for QuickBooks Bill Pay to be paid via ACH? Just to confirm the pricing structure that we put out.
Yeah, let me just pull it out because it would be also easier to show.
Most likely.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It would be easier. 1 second. Okay, so with each one of the plan, we have a number of ACH payments that's included for free, for no additional charge. So with the basic plan, you get 5 free ACH per billing month. In the premium, you would get 40 per billing month, and in the elite, it's unlimited. If you want to go beyond your subscription plan, then you would pay additional 50 cents per ACH transaction. Check payments are always $1.50 per transaction. So if you're in the elite plan, you wouldn't pay additional for the standard ACH payment. In the basic, you would not pay for the first 5. If you would go for 6 payments, you would pay additional 50 cents.
That makes sense. And for this plan, the bill plans, is this for all versions of QBO or is it only specific for certain versions?
This is for all versions of QBO.
All versions. Okay, cool. There was also some questions around, oh my gosh, I had it and now I lost it. How far out can you schedule payments to be sent? Do you have that? Do you know by chance?
Yeah, it's currently 90 days. If this is in any way a limitation, that would be interesting to hear. We're currently looking at 90 days ahead. When we will do recurring payments, we'll readdress this, and this would, because it would be a recurring scheduling, it would be more than 90 days.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that there's also been some feedback around the turnaround time being maybe a little bit different than what Milio offers. Is there any chance to change that or make it faster in any way, or is that kind of the standard right now for the QuickBooks Bill Pay?
So we're actually currently working on giving quicker turnaround times according to the risk profiles of the users, so that specific users would get quicker turnaround time. This is actually in the works right now. And we're also planning to offer 4 additional payment next business day ACH. Yes, but we have heard this this coming from many users, and we're really working on making the turnaround time quicker. And we'll continue to invest in this direction.
Perfect. That's great. I love to hear that. Awesome. Well, Sivan, thank you so much again. I think we'll go ahead and wrap that up. If you and your team have an opportunity to hang out and answer questions I missed in the chat, that would be so wonderful. But I really appreciate your time and energy spent today with us. And thanks for all the helpful information about bill pay.
Thank you. We're still
Bye.
here. Thank
Take care.
Bye.
All right. We've got Boris up next, who's going to talk to us about prep for taxes.
Thank you,
Hi,
thank you,
Boris.
thank you. And naturally, my slide that I was so eager to share with you is not working right now.
Oh, no.
Here we are. Here we are.
go.
Okay. All right. I was just making sure that everybody was paying attention. So I am Boris. I'm here to talk to you about prep for taxes, and I am delighted to be invited back after my last presentation. Apparently, it went better than I anticipated. I was wondering if you would be asking me a question. Boris, we just passed yet another tax deadline. We're getting into a year end. Why are you talking to us about prep for taxes? And my take on this, there couldn't have been a better time for us to talk about prep for taxes. As we're heading into a year-end preparation, the process of preparing balance sheets, getting all the income statements, and more importantly, getting it to a tax professional has been around for a number of years, and it hasn't really been getting much better. So I'm here to tell you more about time-saving workflow that is available for you. With that being said, let's do a quick introduction. My name is Boris. I've been in this organization for 18 years. I just completed my 23rd tax season. I hear a lot of ahs and oohs, but I survived all 23. To me, I've been telling people my birthday is April 15, and it must be destiny for me to be in this business for as many years as I have been. So before we get further, I actually wanted to learn a little bit more about you. So I have 6 questions, and I know they're a little lengthy, so I'm going to help you break them up. The first 2 questions is, I'm not a tax practitioner, and I'm not offering tax services, right? Or I am interested in providing tax services. The next 2 is, I am a tax practitioner. I do less than 50 tax returns, and I either use ProConnect Tax or don't use ProConnect Tax as my professional tax software to complete taxes. And the last 5 and 6, yes, I'm a tax professional and I'm doing more than 50 tax returns, whether it's with ProConnect Tax or with another software. I'll let you guys take your time to answer those questions, and I look forward to your feedback.
Thank you so much, Boris. Guys, we have about 10 to 15 seconds left on this poll before we close it. So if you've stepped away or moved your screen, please be sure to jump back in and answer that question before we close it out. I'm curious, Boris, if you have a thought around what you think is going to be the winner before we share out those results.
There are 2,500 individual preparers out here, so I have no idea. I would probably say majority would stay somewhere at 50 or not tax at all. Tax have been evolving. I mean, not to say accounting hasn't been, but tax has been changing quite a bit, and I'm seeing a very big influx of newer preparers here.
Yeah, and you know what? It looks like you hit the nose on the nail on the head. So majority of folks not interested in providing tax service. Maybe you can change your mind, Boris.
Well. Look, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an EA, and yet I've been delighted to be in this industry for 23 years. So you can do it.
You can do it.
It's not as scary as it used to be, I'll tell you that much.
That sounds fair.
All right. With that in mind, so prep for taxes, what is it and why do I even care to know about this? So what we've heard is, we used to have small offices where either one preparer will do everything and know intimately everything about the bookkeeping and taxes. Then we start specializing. So there would be people who are really, really great at books and don't want to touch taxes, which I see that we have a lot of them here. Or we would have a lot of people who would specialize in taxes and wouldn't know anything about books. Meanwhile, the information from books to tax is as critical as it's ever been. More importantly, I think Sivan mentioned this, QuickBooks is becoming the single source of truth of a lot of our data. So why should we be sending manual spreadsheets to our tax pros to just make sure that they re-enter all this information, maybe reclassify, maybe do something with it, but in the end, it doesn't seem like a holistic management of your accounting needs for the customer. So with that in mind, we started diving into why isn't prep for taxes not being utilized as much as we would like to see it utilized. And there were multiple answers to that. Some people were saying, well, I don't do taxes, so I don't really care. I don't know any of those tax mapping, nor do I care to know about this. Of course, on the tax pro side is, I'm not messing with the QuickBooks. I don't even know where to find it in QuickBooks. My bookkeeper is not sending it to me. All I get is a couple of statements, and then I have to follow up with them and make sure that them and myself have exactly the same understanding where things are going. So the collaboration between a bookkeeper and tax pro hasn't really gotten much better over the past few years, even though the automation, integration, technology in general has been moving in the direction of establishing that bridge and enhancing that bridge. And that's where we come in. I work for ProConnect Tax, which is one of our Intuit professional tax products, online products, similar to QBOA or QBO. And based on the feedback that we heard from our customers, as well as a lot of accountants around the country, we understood that there are several things that we need to provide. And we need to provide an opportunity not only for a bookkeeper to send the information digitally to a tax professional, but also for a tax professional to have a peace of mind that they understand what data is coming in, they're in charge and control of that data being properly applied to their tax return, and more importantly, any reclassification, any remapping is in their control. So with that, I wanted to show you the current process that exists. I'm hoping most of you are aware that if you go into QBOA and if you go to your accountant tools at the top in this image, once you log into your client's file, you get into prep for taxes. And prep for taxes is actually equally allocated between bookkeeping steps and the tax steps. So the first few tasks is basically for accountants to sign off that they have prepared all of this, possibly upload some of the documents that go with this, review and adjust for any bookkeeping adjustments. And then the last two tabs are primarily for getting ready for taxes, right? You grouping some of those individual accounts into categories, and then you map those categories to be sent to your tax professional. Whether you're the same person who is doing this, whether or not you're working in the same office with the tax professionals, or whether you're working with somebody in external practice, as long as they are using ProConnect Tax, you can work with them directly to say, hey, what tax return, and most of you already know what tax return your client is filing. So in my case, I said it's going to be 1120S. And by default, a lot of my categories was assigned. I have a couple of things that I need to assign to a mapping. And then I can easily either create a new tax return in ProConnect Tax, I can update existing return that is in ProConnect Tax, or I can export to CSV file and actually send all this information to the practitioner. And for that, you don't need to have Intuit ProConnect. You can have any product out there. It just basically facilitates the exchange of that information. Obviously, it's not nearly as flawless as sending data from one product to another, but it is something that is available for you to at least to try. So high level, right? You have your QBO file that gets integrated into QBOA. Then you get into prep for tax flow, which is this screen. You map and you push it into ProConnect Tax. Seems easy. But as I've mentioned earlier in my presentation, before the data would just get imported into ProConnect Tax. And so you might have done it first week of January. I, as a tax professional, may not be even looking at anything until first week of February. And so I come into my ProConnect Tax, and I know that you as an accountant sent me all this information, but I don't know what it was sent, right? It just got applied to my ProConnect Tax. All of a sudden, I'm getting a little anxious. What information got in? Do I know if it came in correctly? Do I need to see it? So with all of this, I'm not sure if I'm getting a tremendous benefit out of this tool. With that, we decided to enhance for our tax practitioners to have a lot more control over this data. So now, if you are pushing this information from Prep for Taxes to ProConnect Tax, then we have a bridge file or bridge screen where you can easily see here's the business that it's coming from, One Place LLC. It came into my 1120 tax return, which is a corporate return for tax year 2023. and here are some of the amounts that came in. Well, I wish they would have put sales of product income into another category, let's say other income. Instead of going back to a bookkeeper and saying, hey, I need you to change this file and re-import it to me, you now can easily reclassify sales of product income into other income category. Not only that, you can remap. Let's assume that I thought that gross receipts and sales are going to line 1A, but you really want to see them on line 1C for whatever reason. You can make that change and reclassify this tax line to be 1C. So that's more of a control that we are providing to our tax professionals, so they don't have to bother accountants for additional information. But wait, there's more. Not only you can do all this reclassification and remapping, you can now do tax adjustments. So as many of you know, bookkeeping and tax are not always following the same rules. And the larger the business, the more likely they're going to have different approach to bookkeeping and tax. So with that in mind, we're also introducing tax adjustments as part of this bridge file in ProConnect Tax. This way you can document the differences between depreciation that you might have taken on the book side for the assets using the book depreciation versus depreciation that you would be using on the tax side with bonus depreciation, with Section 179 depreciation, or just a different style of depreciation reconciliation on the tax. There's more likely than not, you will have changes. And I know a lot of you, depending on the smaller business, might keep the business assets on the same depreciation schedule. So with that, there's more than 15 other ways of providing tax adjustments, whether it's different meals and entertainment recognition, or salaries and bonus that is getting paid that is definitely recognized on tax. Not only you can make those adjustments, but you can also generate a work paper that will help you keep track of all of those adjustments in ProConnect Tax. The important part is it shouldn't be impacting your QuickBooks files. One of the bigger concerns for our accountants was, if my tax pro will get this file and start messing with it, then all of a sudden, I don't know what's changed, and I don't want them to change anything because I am correct. You are probably right. With that in mind, we made sure that all the adjustments for now are staying within ProConnect Tax. We look forward to collecting feedback on this functionality, and based on the feedback from our customers, we can figure out how to synchronize this information. When is this information needed to be synchronized? What kind of permissions do we need to synchronize this information? Obviously, there's a lot more that we can do in this space, but we thought this was a very impactful way for us to enhance this capability and provide more collaboration for our accountants. I look forward to your questions.
Boris, thank you so much. That's really cool. I'm excited about the new features that you're talking about, and the more collaborative feel. I have just a couple questions. A lot of folks are asking about Lacert, or is this feature possibly ever going to branch out into anything other than ProConnect?
So as of right now, we are the first product to introduce this. In fact, right now, I'm showing the screen where you can drop down into ProConnect Tax. There's Lacert and Pro Series that is also available. Unfortunately, when it comes to integrating with desktops, and I know you guys are going to hear this quite a bit here, it is so much harder for us to integrate directly into a desktop. So with that, we're trying to test it in ProConnect Tax, see how it works, see what are some of the gains and some of the benefits that we can provide to our customers. And then based on our discovery, we're going to continue to look further into this.
That makes sense, Boris. I would love to ask some more questions, but just for the sake of time, you did fabulous, by the way. This is not on you, me. We do need to get to our last presenter before we finish up for today, but thank you so much, Boris. If you have a chance to check out the Q&A and answer stuff I missed, there's a ton. Thank you so much. You've been awesome.
Look forward to any additional invite. As you guys can tell, I am very excited about the collaboration between tax and bookkeeping. Yeah. So please check it out. Provide feedback to me.
Thank you, Boris. All right, Miss Tiffany, we've got you on and ready to rock and roll. Thank you so much for waiting. And please introduce yourself and let's talk about 1099s.
Yes, it is the season. Hi, everyone. I'm Tiffany. I'm a product manager. I've been at Intuit for 6 years down here in Mountain View, California. And we're going to talk about 1099s, and I'm actually going to intro this with a quick poll. So for tax year 2023, so the season that starts this January, what is the maximum number of combined 1099 and W-2 forms that you are allowed to print? And obviously print and mail to the IRS. Is it 10, 50, 150, or 250?
Ooh, I learned this a long time ago. I don't even know if I remember. I have a guess, but I don't know if I'm right.
It
We'll see.
changed.
It changed. Oh,
Changed.
trick question, Tiffany.
I know. I really want to make sure this group knows about this.
Heck yeah. Guys, just so you know, if the answer you pick is not the right one, you'll still get the CPE credit. So don't worry if it's wrong, but be sure to answer the polling question before we close out in about 10 seconds so that you can get that CPE. And I'm curious. Now I want to go look it up, but I'll wait till you tell me, Tiffany, what the answer is. All right, it looks like we have the majority of folks asking, stating 50. So the answer is?
Answer is 10.
What?
Is a change for this year. So I'm going to walk you through all of this. This year, the IRS has a new mandate, which is that the limit on how many paper filings you can file with the IRS has been lowered from 250. It used to be 250 to 10. So if you or your client have more than 10 1099s and W-2 combined, so an example, 8 employees, 2 contractors, 8 contractors, 20 employees, well, that one's easy. Everything needs to be e-filed electronically. So in order to help you all with that, we've implemented a new e-file flow to make things even easier than they usually were. So that's big change number one. Looking at the time, I will not go through the whole demo, but know that among things that we've changed, one, we've changed how you map the accounts to the 1099 box, as you can see on this screen. You now have this handy little drawer. They're alphabetically organized, and you can just do your mapping that way. And you can map, obviously, several accounts to the same box. We have also changed some of the reports right here. The reports that we had some feedback on them, and so we've made a ton of improvements on there using the custom reports functionality that some of you might be familiar with that comes with the advanced SKU. This report will be available to every QBO or payroll user. So you will be able to see what accounts have been used, who has been paid, how much, whether it was a credit card payment or whether it was not, whether the person who's been paid is tracked for 1099 or not. So a ton of flexibility on this report that you can access right here. Then another key thing that we've done in order to help is that we've made it super obvious who is tracked for 1099, who is not tracked for 1099. We gave you a really good way to just add them if they're not tracked. And within those who are tracked for 1099, you will now be able to see the reportable total and the non-reportable total, meaning everything that goes below threshold will be in the non-reportable total. Everything that has been paid with a credit card is in the non-reportable total. And then you will be able to click on each of those amounts to just make sure that the totals are the right ones and that everything is adding up the way you want it to. All right, so that was some of the key changes in our 1099 experience for next year for the prep flow. But wait, there is more. So I'm just going to continue through it. We have a new flow, but there is another IRS change that was introduced this year. The IRS has made a mandate that you must file corrections for 1099s the same way you filed the original forms. So if your original form was e-filed because, the threshold has been lowered to 10, if the original form was e-filed, you need to e-file the correction. This is why this year with QBO, we are introducing 1099 corrections e-filing for the very first time, and we're very excited. I won't go through a whole demo of this because we don't have a ton of time, but you will be able to access this flow directly, like the corrections right here. It's small, but we'll be able to take action on each of the 1099 forms that have been accepted by the IRS. One thing to note is that e-corrections can only start once the IRS has accepted the original e-filing of the 1099. So this is why, this is something to keep in mind. So e-correction, go to taxes, 1099 filings, start your e-correction process right there. It's brand new, it's free, we're excited about it. All right, last but not least, a billing change. So last year, we understood that a lot of you have wholesale clients, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you want wholesale clients that you want to handle 1099s on behalf of your clients or pay for those. So what we did this year is that we're introducing a lot of flexibility with the billing. And I'm going to just show you a screenshot because I think sometimes an image speaks louder than words. But for instance, if you are looking at your 1099s, your QBO client, and you want to pay for them because you don't have a subscription, such as Bill Pay, Premium, or Elite, a wholesale client would be able to look at this, say, hey, okay, this is billed to firm. You could switch to your own client's payment method or stick with the firm's payment method. We're giving basically a ton of flexibility. Everyone can choose who pays for the 1099s right there. Is it the clients? Is it the accountant? We're giving a ton of flexibility right here. Even if you have, for instance, a direct billing client, but you've handled their 1099s and you don't want, QuickBooks to charge for the e-filing, you want to do a markup, you can do that. You can switch to your own payment method and be charged that way. All right, so I'm going to do just a quick recap because I said a ton of new things. One, IRS mandates e-filing, and we have a new flow to make it easier than ever. Well, mandates e-filing above 10 forms. Two, IRS mandates that for 1099s that have been e-filed, corrections, and we also have that we're on new this year. And three, we are introducing flexible billing for 1099 without impacting any of the QBO subscriptions. Now, just for the 1099, if you can decide who pays for that. Is it your client? Is it you? All right. I'll stop here and see if there are some questions.
Tiffany, wow, thank you so much for being so flexible and getting all that helpful and very interesting information out. I was completely shocked because I didn't know. I must have been hiding under a tree, but just for folks that are asking about the pricing stuff, I just want to be clear. If you're using payroll and contractor payments or bill pay, QuickBooks bill pay, 1099 is unlimited free. Is that correct?
Almost correct. That
Okay.
is true if you have bill pay premium or elite. And obviously payroll contractor payments like the past years, yes, unlimited, free, take advantage of it. The new thing this year is that if you have bill pay premium or elite, it will also be included.
Got you. Yes, thank you so much. I forgot about the tiers, premium or elite bill pay. And then the pricing that we're kind of talking about right now, that is for those that are not applicable to those two free ones.
Exactly. So any QBO, any QuickBooks Online user can prepare and file their 1099s. You go to the vendors tab and you click prepare 1099s. You go to the contractors list, you click prepare 1099s, and everyone can do this regardless of their subscription, right? But if your client doesn't need payroll or they don't need contract agreements or bill pay, you can just pay for each form that get e-filed through the system. So that's available for everyone.
Tiffany, do we have our early bird discount pricing and our regular rates out available for people to see currently? Do you know?
Yes, they're going to be the same as last year. So
okay,
that's one way to answer this. but I can also see if I can follow up with the exact rates. But it starts at usually the early bird pricing, which is from January 1st to January 15th, is $3.99 per form. It starts at $3.99 per form because the price decreases the more forms you e-file. It starts at $3.99, and then the regular pricing from January 15 on starts at $4.99 per form.
Gotcha. It gets cheaper as you file more.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. I am so excited about the corrections, by the way, just me personally. I think that's super awesome that we have that. Someone totally brought me back from like a long time. The 1099 kits that we used to sell, will those no longer be relevant? Do you know?
So the 1099 kits are still available for purchase. So by 1099 kits, I believe that you're talking about the ability to print, right? So on the special paper that the IRS. So they still get accepted by the IRS, and you can still purchase them on our website as every year. It's just that with this mandate of e-filing as soon as you reach 10 forms between W-2 and 1099, so it goes really fast. And so it still works. It's just that you will have to pay extra attention as to number of forms that you're filing if you want to print.
Yeah, don't want to get in trouble with the IRS, do we? Final question that I'm going to bug you on, Tiffany. And again, thank you so much. This is awesome. I'm so excited. The last question I had sorry, my dog's food feeder is going off if you hear it. But last question I had is QuickBooks Desktop. Does this apply to desktop, or is it still going through tax 1099?
This does not apply to desktop. Desktop, the flow remains the way it is. So it's going to tax 1099 as a partner, But
Perfect.
online, we have all these things.
Okay, awesome. I had a feeling QBO, not desktop, but thank you so much, Tiffany. I really, really appreciate all of your time that you've spent with us. And thank you again for being so flexible. We really appreciate that. We're just going to finish up with some accountant resources. You guys know the drill. This is the end of our session. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Sivan, Tiffany, Boris, thank you all so much for being here. Very, very informative. I've gotten some good feedback already saying thank you. You guys have been awesome. Last but certainly not least, training and webinars. If you guys are interested in learning more, I know we have some bill pay webinars coming up at qbtrainingevents.com. Highly, highly recommend you guys check that out. That is our Accountant University website. You can go to those webinars. They also offer CPE. Please feel free to check those out. We'll have some virtual conferences from time to time in there as well. Our firmofthefuture.com blog, great place to hear from other folks that either are practitioners as you, just like you, or additional information about features and enhancements that we come up with. Check out firmofthefuture.com. And then finally, feedback into action. If you guys have been around for a while, then you'll know that we have been working really hard and diligently on trying to prioritize and hear your feedback and what we're doing with that information that we get from you. So feel free to check that out. But thank you guys again so much for being here today. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next month.